Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chaz Kayado, and today I want to discuss the difference between brick and mortar and online colleges, and to try to guide you and help you figure out which one is right for you. I personally have a degree from a brick and mortar for my undergraduate and an online degree for my master's, and I'm working towards a doctorate at an online college. So I have a little bit of experience with both, but the goal of this video is to kind of help you decide which direction you should go. And really what it comes down to is figuring out what you find valuable. So for the traditional path, it's been you go to high school, then you go to college for 4 years, join the workforce, and maybe you go and get a master's degree or a doctorate degree and then go to the workforce. Well, that has been the path for brick and mortar for 100 plus years. And that honestly doesn't change much when you look at the path for online. But as we'll discuss, some of the benefits of online, if you value it, is that timeline may be a little bit more accelerated. So one of the first things that you need to figure out is the value of money for you. So if you are on a budget, it's probably going to be the case that you're going to want to look at options such as community college through a brick and mortar institution or an online university, because many online universities do tend to have less expensive tuition than brick and mortars. Now, obviously, a place like a junior college would be highly subsidized by the government, so they tend to be very, very inexpensive options for pursuing an associate's degree. So what you need to figure out is, what your options are in terms of financing, and then figure out really what are your options based on the money that you have available to you. Also, how much debt do you want to be in? Do you want to be in zero debt? Do you want to be in less than $20,000 worth of debt? All of those are going to factor in to which direction you go, whether that be brick and mortar or online. And to be fair, even brick and mortar and online will have significant variances between colleges. For instance, there are some programs, some courses that you can take through Harvard online, and those are well over $3,000 for one course, whereas you may find courses online that are $500, $600, $700, $800 for one specific course. So you really can have still wide variances within brick and mortar and online. So another thing that you have to figure out is what your timeline is. As I mentioned, there are options for online degrees that are quite a bit more accelerated than brick and mortar. Brick and mortar tends to still fall on the semester programs, right? So you have a spring semester and a fall semester. Some schools will offer some type of summer session as well, but for the most part, twice a year is when students are going, they're taking classes, and that's that. Well, that's not the case with many online programs, right? Many online programs are continuously adding students to courses, and there might be, 4, 5, 6, maybe 12 different times a year where new students are entering and beginning programs. So you don't have to wait in order to start your degree in many cases online. But also, there is an emerging field of YouTubers that are discussing what's known as degree hacking, which is essentially ways to get degrees as fast as possible online. And there are some out there that say that you can get an undergraduate degree as quick as a year online. So, if you have a time horizon that is, really, really expedited, then you probably are going to want to look at online versus going to a brick and mortar. So another thing that you need to figure out is if you have credits can you transfer those credits? Let's say you went to college for a year and then you stepped away. Do you have the ability to transfer those credits to whatever school that you want to? Okay, so that could potentially take some time off of the amount of time that you're within a program. So you need to look at that. And that really isn't brick or mortar versus online, but that's just college versus college, figuring out which college may accept the credits that you already have. So another thing for you to consider is, how do you feel about personal connections? So I think it's kind of obvious to say that it's a bit easier to make personal connections with your classmates when you're sitting next to them every single day in class. That's not to say that you can't make personal connections with classmates online. And I know for a fact that I've made plenty of personal connections with other classmates online through the programs that I'm involved in right now. And so it's not impossible, but that's still it's still not the same as walking into the same classroom and being face to face with whoever it is that you're in class with. And that goes the same. It goes same thing with teachers, right? So if you value being able to actually physically go into your teacher's office for office hours, then once again, that's going to be a brick and mortar. That's going to be more brick and mortar than it will be online. And then, another thing that is important is experiences. So what do you value when it comes to experiences? If you are the type of person where you really want to go to a college because you want to go to the sporting events, you want to go to the concerts, you want to go to the events that are happening in and around the college campus, well, you're not going to be able to get that from an online school. And so if you value that, then you're probably going to want to go the route of brick and mortar. So, once again, you kind of have to figure out what your values are so that way you can determine which is the best path for you. Other things to consider is, another thing to consider is your specific industry. Okay, so if you want to be, let's say, in hospitality, you want to be a hotel manager and you want a degree in hospitality. Well, if no brick and mortar schools around you have a hospitality degree, well, then you kind of only have the option of going online, unless you wanted to travel and spend money to go to an out-of-state school or an out-of-area school. But once again, those are things that are important to understand. And there is the chance that you could have a mixed approach. You may want to do a couple years worth of online undergraduate and then transfer to another school to finish out your degree in a brick and mortar. So that's not to say that you can't do that, right? You can do the mixed approach. And then also on top of that, there are many, many schools now that have the option of being at a brick and mortar, but also supplementing your classes that you're taking at that brick and mortar with online courses as well. So there is the chance to potentially do the mixed approach. So neither is better or worse than the others, but what you need to figure out is what you value, because what you value could change which direction you want to go. If you're looking for cost, if you're looking for how quickly you can get through the program, you're probably going to want to go with the online programs. But if you value being around people and being able to physically interact with people on a daily basis, you're probably going to want to go with the brick and mortar. But then we've also discussed that there are other factors such as the availability of specific degrees that could affect your desire or ability to go to a specific college. So this was just a broad overview. I've seen it on both sides, and you just have to take the good and the bad. There's not anyone that's inherently better, right? But it all comes down to what you specifically value. Thank you.